I want to say to the people that are watching us live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, I'm glad to stand before you. We're going to get right to the lesson, sisters and brothers. Title of this lesson is Marriage and Family Conduct. Marriage and Family Conduct. You know, we can have ever so much knowledge in the Word of God, and we can quote and read so many scriptures, and we can look ever so wise when it comes to the Word of God. But I want you to understand something, sisters and brothers. If you don't understand how to treat your household, whether you're male or female, then you might have a whole lot of knowledge, but you don't have too much understanding. Now, we're going to show you today that marriage is an institution that God set up. And nowadays, there is an all-out assault on God's form of marriage. First thing is, when you say you're married and want to be regular, something's wrong with you. Now they have polluted the marriage, the word marriage, because they're talking about men with men, men and women with women. They're passing this all over, sisters and brothers. And now it's got to the point when you talk about straight marriage, something is wrong with you. But we're going to show you that whatever man might say or do, God is the one that set the agenda. He's the one that set the precedents, and can't nobody change it. The reason I know is because only the combination that God put on the table can be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. If you can say what you want, do what you want, but if you put men with men, women with women, the species would die. Because if you don't use God's combination, it don't work, sisters and brothers. And the Lord is the one that set it all in order. And now you get to the point when you say marriage don't make no difference. It makes none whatsoever. But the Lord set this up, and we're going to look at this. And the reason we having so many problems in so many marriages because nobody have bothered to go into the Bible and let God teach them what a husband is supposed to be like and what a wife is supposed to be like, even how to raise your children. It is all here in this book, sisters and brothers. But nobody read it. Everybody want to get off into philosophy. You want to have all kind of big debates over the family and over marriage, and all you got to do is simply read the book and obey. That's all you have to do, because the Lord set this thing up from the very beginning. Now, let's start in Genesis, the first chapter, and we're going to have us a look at this marriage and family conduct. Because the Lord tell you all, you don't have to wonder what the Lord wants. You don't have to wonder how a husband should behave. You don't have to wonder how a wife should behave. You don't have to wonder how to raise your children. The Lord put it all in the book, sisters and brothers. It is all here. What you need to do is open it up and read it. And don't get caught up in this world of foolishness, because the world is full of foolishness now. Nothing makes sense. Everything up is down, and everything down is up, and everything normal is abnormal. It's all that simple. So, it's the whole thing here is, God put it in order, sisters and brothers. He is the one that defined marriage. And if you don't go with God's definition, marriage don't work. It has no meaning. Now let's start at Genesis 1 and 26. We're going to go to the creation here. Genesis 1 and verse 26. Because this needs to be understood. Somebody needs to teach the world this. Because obvious the world is going to sleep on this whole thing. 26, go ahead.
And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness.
Go ahead.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air and over the cattle and over all the earth and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Now the Lord, first thing is, Lord going to make man in his own image. And then he's going to give him authority over everything. Now this earth right now, he gave him the authority to run this earth, because if this man is going to be a ruler, he has to be trained somewhere. This is your training session here. But let's see how he made man. Go ahead and read.
So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him.
Go ahead.
Male and female created he them.
Now he said, male and female created he them. Go ahead and read.
And God blessed them. And God said unto them,
Go ahead.
Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth.
Now
and
look, he said, and be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. Now how is it that you can replenish the earth if you don't use the combination that God set up from the beginning? Male and female. This is the reason you here. You are to further the species. God wanted to he put a man and woman here so they could multiply and restock the earth, sisters and brothers. And have dominion over it and subdue it. Go ahead and read.
And have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the fowl of the air. And over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Now when the Lord put this man here, the woman was there. She was inside. He just hadn't brought her forth. But we're going to show you that's the reason for that. Now let's go into Genesis, the 2nd chapter. Genesis chapter 2. Because the Lord did something here. He made this woman a part of man because you're one. So now, when this woman, and what will happen when you're one? You will not abuse yourself, sisters and brothers. Man, when the last time you seen a guy walking around hitting himself upside the head, slapping himself down, standing in the mirror, cussing himself out? So if you will not do that to you, then you should not do it to you. What you mean you, the female part of you? The Lord fixed that thing, sisters and brothers, so you will understand that you are one. And the only way you can be profitable is the two of you become one. And if the two don't become one, you can't replenish the earth. That's right. You can't further the species. Have you had Adam and Andrew? They both would have got old and died. Or either Sarah and Mildred. They all would have got old and died. God's combination is the only one that works. But the Lord wanted to make sure that this combination you put in here, he fixed it so you could see that you are one and you will operate as one. And we're going to start at verse 18. Genesis 2 and 18. 2 and 18. Okay, go ahead.
The Lord God said, It is not good that the man should be alone.
Go ahead.
I will make him a helpmeet for him.
It's not good that he should be alone. I'm going to make a help that is suitable for him. Go ahead and read.
And out of the ground the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them.
Go ahead.
And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him.
Now look. The whole thing is that wasn't a help suitable for him. For one thing is because he didn't find nothing that he could use to replenish the earth. So the Lord had to put him to sleep and bring his other half out. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Go ahead.
And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman.
Now what he did, he went in and he got a part of man to make woman. Because he wants you to understand one thing, that you both are one, and you both are supposed to operate as one, and you're supposed to do just like when you have a problem, sit down and figure it out, commune within yourself, then you too are supposed to commune with one another. God is telling you this. Otherwise, he could have went to the ground and got him another pile of dirt and made him a woman, so now go over there and see if y'all can jail. But he didn't do that. He wants you to understand that the two is one. Go ahead and read.
And brought her into the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh.
Go ahead.
She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
Now he said, it's bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Will you break your own bone? Will you damage your own flesh? Well, then you should not break the woman's bone or damage her flesh, or vice versa. This is what the Lord is trying to give us a message. He started it out right. If we had paid attention and adhered to it, wouldn't be no marriage problem, sisters and brothers. Because he's going to tell you what you're supposed to do. You find out what your role is, and you play it. Everybody play their role, everything is smooth. Go ahead and read.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Now he said, then you leave your father and your mother. What it is, the Lord is bringing you together, and once you come together, then mother and father and everybody else is in your family is left behind, sisters and brothers. Now it's your time to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. And when you have something that need to be addressed, y'all sit down and address it. You come together and you fix it. Because if you go in and you ask your mother and your father if it's a point of disagreement, they're going to always side with their side of the family. So your problem is not going to be solved. It's going to be aggravated. So you sit down. You talk it over with. You're supposed to be servants of God. Servants of God should be able to fix anything. Both of you serving, but that's one strong combination. Unless somebody's a servant and the other one is a perpetrator.
That's right.
Then that's a bad combination. But the Lord made you one. Now let's go into Matthew, the 19th chapter. Matthew chapter 19. The Lord gave you all kind of good stuff. He wrote this down, and he had it so you would understand. One thing is, once you get into marriage and realize that you ain't supposed to get out of it and you're serving of God, then you just say, hey, I'm in it. I may as well figure out how to have some fun with it.
That's right.
Because I can't get out of it. It's just like going to jail. You go and you get your life sentence. You locked up forever. Ain't no need you think about what you would do if you was outside. Since you in forever, you may as well find out how to live pretty good on the inside. That is the attitude you're supposed to have. Because if you don't, there are some consequences down the road that's going to happen to you. Because people think that they can just walk away from marriage and everything's going to be smooth, ain't nothing going to happen. Sisters and brothers, you have a rude awakening coming. Lord going to deal with you. If he don't deal with you now, he said, I will separate you at the harvest.
That's right.
Matthew 19, let's start at verse 3. Matthew 19 and 3. Okay, read it.
The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him,
Go ahead.
Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have you not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
Now look, they want to, you know what it said, put away his wife for every cause. Because that's what they did. Didn't come out of what? The woman woke up in the morning, her breath is, you got morning breath. I'm through with you. I'm putting you away. You might tell her to get up and let's do something. I don't feel too good. Oh, you can't perform your duty. I'm putting you away. Especially if you see somebody else you want. But the Lord said, look here. Haven't you read from the beginning? They made them one, male and female. In other words, when the Lord put you together, he had no separation in mind. He put you together with the intent that you will stay together. Go ahead and read.
And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh.
So he had to know what Adam said because he dictated it to Adam. Go ahead and read.
6. Wherefore they are no more twain, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man put asunder.
So who joined man and woman together? God did. When? In the creation. He brought you here together to let you know that whatever you do, if you should stop togetherness, you have reversed what God put in action from day one. Very day one. So what God have put together, let no man put asunder. God didn't put together male and male, or female and female. He put together male and female. Anything else is just an exercise in wickedness, sisters and brothers. But all these intellectuals are trying to show you that there ain't nothing wrong with it. That takes me back to the old story of the rabbit and the lion, sisters and brothers. The lion walking by a bush, rabbit jumps out the bush, knock him down, kick his teeth in, and break his back. So wait a minute. A rabbit can't whip a lion, and then it says, shut up, fool. It is the rabbit that's telling the story. So the people that's telling you that this is all right, you better look at them. Maybe you're going to find a fly in the ointment. You understand what I'm saying? What I'm telling you, sisters and brothers, is don't pay no look time when the story is warped. Maybe you should look at the one that's telling it. Because you cannot circumvent reality. So look, the Lord said he made them one. Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
They say unto him, why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives.
Now look, that's the only law that Moses break. The only people always talking about the law of Moses, the law of Moses. Moses did one law, and now Jesus finna reverse it. So why did Moses say you can put this woman away? He said, because of the hardness of your heart, Moses allowed you to say that. Why? Because these brothers was abusing these sisters and brothers. They mistreat them. They don't want them. They get rid of them. Either they picking 2 or 3. They treating this one wrong and that one wrong. And Moses says, he comes to, well, he said, hey, it's better to just let them go rather than just keep them there and abuse them and degrade them. And brothers do that now. Get a woman, you abuse her. Not only some of you don't do it physically, sometimes you abuse them verbally. But Jesus said, because of the hardness of your heart, that's when you abuse your other half. Moses allowed that. Go ahead and read.
But from the beginning, it was not so.
From the beginning, it was not so. Did you see Adam put Eve away? And when she come here, she didn't come from another pile of dirt. She come out of him, sisters and brothers. And the Lord wants you to understand that. Go ahead and read.
And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery.
And that is cut and dried. Take it the way you want it, sisters and brothers. That is the word of Jesus. And I think this guy knows what he's talking about. But don't nobody want to deal with that. Now let's go into Ephesians, the 5th chapter. Because the Lord tell everybody what they should do. The woman, what she going to do, what she should do, and the man, what his role is. He tell it. First thing is, I put you together. So now, that is etched in stone. So now, ain't no need of you think about you want to get out, but if you want, so why, since you can't get out, you may as well find out how to live within it. And that's the way the Lord have this thing, sisters and brothers. But too many times, we see situations set up, and we think that we have options when we don't. As long as you think you have an option, you are steady trying to exercise it. But the day comes when you know that you don't have an option, you don't do it. You get locked up in a cell, you know you can't break iron. So you ain't going to keep running into it and bumping your head. You go, well, since I'm in here, I may as well see if I can get me a comfortable spot. Because I'm in it. So you may as well see if you can make it work. And anything can be worked if you listen to what the Lord says. Ephesians 5, let's start at verse 22. 5, and we're going to start reading at verse 22. Okay, read.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
Submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. Your own husband. That don't necessarily mean that you saying to submit yourself to somebody. It's what it's saying is you submit yourself to the head of your household. That's one of the problems in the church, sisters and brothers. You got too many people want to go and get advice from the preacher what they should do with their family. Sisters and brothers, I'm going to tell you something. Preacher, I'm a preacher. I'm a man. I got my own problem. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know your problem. I am not inside your head. I am not inside your wife's head. You telling me whatever you want me to hear. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. So if you don't know the absolute about anything, you can't solve it. So the best thing you do, your husband know where you are, you know who he is, who is more qualified to fix it than y'all are.
That's right.
You know the flaws of your spouse, and they know your flaws. You know what he can't stand, you know what she can't stand. You know what she can tolerate, she know what you can tolerate. So why don't somebody fix it? So look, we going to deal with what we can deal with, and what we can't deal with ain't going to bring it to you. If you can live with one person, you can live with any person. Y'all understand me? But we don't understand that because we think we have options. So wives, submit yourself to your own husband. Go ahead and read.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church.
And that is an absolute. Go ahead and read.
And he is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Now, that's the way it's supposed to be. He is the head of the household. And he is the one that the wife look to for whatever it is that she need to deal with. She need to look to her husband. She need money, go to him. We ain't got enough grocery, go to him. Rent behind, go to him. Because if you come to me and I'm going to spend the money, then I'm going to give some advice, and that advice is going to be in my favor. And you ain't going to like that? Well, then you make sure that you don't give her no reason to go outside the house. Y'all understand what I'm saying? This is what the book is telling you. What verse is that?
Verse 25.
Go ahead.
Husbands,
go ahead.
love your wives even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Now, that is a great big statement, sisters and brothers. Husband, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. Christ died for the church. Will you do that for your household, for your wife, for your children? If you will not, then you ain't in the marriage. Because it is on you. This is what people don't understand. God made you the head, but that's the head of everything. You the head talker, you the head rule giver, and you the head meat to the barbecue when it's time for somebody to be born. You just can't stop when it's you. You understand when it don't, well, you know, you don't give orders. Sometimes you have to be prepared to suffer. That's why he used Jesus. This is a big thing, sister and brother. Because you're going to find out the family, if a man can't take care of his family, God ain't got no use for him. A lot of brothers need to understand that. Because this is the training ground. Skip down to verse 28. Verse 28 and go ahead.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
And that's what the Lord wanted to put on the table when he made you one. So man should love his wife as he loves his own body. Because when he loves his wife, he is loving himself. That's why the Lord said he made you one. Go ahead and read.
For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church. For
now, how many men hate themselves? How many men will starve themselves when he got money in his pocket?
Not too many.
How many men will curse himself out and make himself feel low and bad and insignificant? I don't know now. If you will not do that to yourself, then you don't do that to your wife. It's all that simple. The Lord letting you know that. And I'm going to show you something before we get out of here that's going to let you know the Lord is looking at this. And there are consequences. One thing with this God, that a God of Israel, he will tell you what to do, and then he will tell you, if you don't, there are consequences. What verse are we?
We're at verse 30.
Go ahead and read.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh.
You notice now, the Lord here had Paul go back to the creation. The Lord have already set everything in order from day one. And it's a good order. All we have to do is adhere to it. There ain't nothing can be added to this. Nothing can be taken from it, sisters and brothers. If you are one, if you look upon your spouse as yourself, then your spouse is not going to be abused. How many people are going to abuse yourself? Woman, you going to break your own arm? You going to run your head into the wall? You going to have a pocket full of money and sit down and starve to death? You ain't going to do that. You're going to do everything that makes you comfortable. If whatever that makes you comfortable, you're supposed to do the same thing to make her comfortable, sister and brother. Skip down to verse 33 and read it.
Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself.
Now, go ahead.
And the wife see that she reverence her husband.
Now, if you love her as yourself, I mean you really do, it'll come out. And then the wife will do something. She'll reverence her husband. Because I'm going to tell you something, everybody likes a good thing. It's just like when you feed a dog every day and leave the gate open. You think he's going to run off? He know what good living is, and good, he going to come right on back. Oh, I'm sorry I left today. If he could talk, he's no problem. Because you showed him love by taking care of him. Nobody wants to lose a good thing, whether it's male or female. And sometimes, when you get a good wife, somebody sent them to you. Let's go into Proverbs, the 18th chapter. Proverbs, the 18th chapter. Because the Lord don't leave nobody out, sisters and brothers. He don't leave man out or woman. We're going to get to everybody's role before we get out of this lesson. Ain't nobody going to escape. Proverbs 18 and verse 22. I'm going to read one verse, 18 and 22. Proverbs 18 and verse 22. Okay, read it.
Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord.
Now, if you find a wife, you find a good thing, and you have obtained favor from the Lord. But let's look at this wife, if she is a wife. Let's go in Proverbs, the 19th chapter, and read one verse, verse 14, 19 and 14. Okay, read it.
House and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord.
Ain't that now? Okay, then, we got something on. You know, you get a house and riches, you can inherit from your parent. But a prudent wife, that's one that thinks about things, one that's not presumptuous, one that uses her head in the best interest of her household. That is what the Lord has sent you. Instead of having somebody that don't think about nothing. Oh, I want this here. I went to Sally's house, and ooh, she had a couch to die for. It don't cost me $2,000. And you can't hardly pay your rent. And you go and you come back with a $2,000 couch. That's not a prudent wife, sisters and brothers. You have to learn what fits in your family and learn what makes your family work. This is the woman's end. Let's go into Proverbs, the 31st chapter. And this is the problem. Everybody wants what they want. Instead of sitting down, let's find out what we want. And if you want something bad enough, bring it to me, and we both can figure out how to get it without bankrupting the household. But you have to be able to do that. The Lord made you one. Every time I think one, when I have a problem, I sit down and I'll be trying to figure this problem. I'll be communing with myself. That's what you call thinking about it. Rolling it over in your head. Trying to come up with the best solution. So when it's a family thing, you and the woman sit down. Y'all think about it. Throw it at one another. See what happens. You might come up with the best solution, one that everybody's happy about. But if you don't discuss it, don't tell me what you think about the couch after you done bought it. I don't care how pretty it is if you done brought up the house. Whatever I think about it is ugly. It's all that simple. Because you made the move without consulting me. Let's start at verse 10. Proverbs 31 and 10. See, sometimes, sisters and brothers, the arguments start over something, but that ain't the object of the argument. The object of the argument was it was not agreed on before it took place.
That's right.
That's the real thing. Sometimes I can like something. What if you just keep doing stuff and you don't ever tell me about it and you keep telling me and I'm the head of the household, well, I did this here and I did that. I can like it, but after a while I ain't going to like it. You know why? Because I've come to the conclusion that you're going to do what you want to do regardless of what I want to do. Now, we got us a problem. And that's a problem that has to be fixed on the woman's side. Because the man had to fix the problem on his side. 31, and let's start at verse 10. Verse 10, go ahead.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
That's a virtuous woman. They're going to tell you about her. Far above rubies. I'm telling you, no matter where you buy, it's not enough to replace her. Go ahead and read.
The heart of her husband does safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil.
Now, see, and that's the beginning of a virtuous woman, that her husband can trust in her. I am not worried about a bill, a $15,000 or $20,000 bill coming in my mail saying you owe me this because your wife bought this. I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about nobody calling me on the telephone. I'm a bill collector because your wife bought this here. I ain't worried about none of that stuff because I know my wife is not going to do that to me. If she do, I'll be the most surprised brother on the planet. But you know why? Because I trust her. And she earned my trust. Why? By not doing foolish stuff and putting me in a position that I don't have no wiggle room. He said, this woman, so her husband is safe with her. So he don't have no need of spoil. In other words, I don't have to hide my money. I don't have to hide my assets. You understand? I don't have to fix my checkbook because can't nobody operate it but me. Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 12. She would do him good and not evil all the days of her life.
Ain't that something? She going to do him good. And they ain't going to ever do him evil all the days of her life. This is a woman that the Lord sent you. Sometimes men get them and they don't appreciate them. Skip down to verse 25 and go ahead.
Strength and honor are in her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come.
Now that's a real clothing. Strength and honor. She had the strength to do what she had to do, and she do it in an honorable way. And people around her honor her because she will not do anything that is contrary to the word of God or her husband. Go ahead and read.
She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
And she ain't always talking stupid. Then again, too, she's always kind. And this is what people don't understand. Like I see brothers sometimes. They are perfect gentlemen with some other sister. They walk and open the door for her. They open the door of the car for her. How you doing, my sister? But then you and your wife go out. You get out the car, she got to get out herself. When you come out the restaurant, you go ahead and you get in the car, and she stand up at the door. What you waiting on? Get in the car. But she got to be strong enough not to snap on you. And so I tell you what, you don't appreciate me, I'm going to go get me a dude that will appreciate me. She's too honorable for that. She'll wait until you get some sense. Go ahead and read.
27. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praised her.
And that's what happened. When your woman do the right thing, she look out for her household, she look out for her children, and she do the right things toward the husband. He's always praising. Oh, man, my wife, I said, did he? But that's if he's stupid. You praise her too much, somebody else be after. But the whole thing is, she is somebody that you will talk good about. Go ahead and read.
29. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
Go ahead.
But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised.
And that is a fact. Favor is something that's fleeting. It's deceitful. And beauty is vain because after a while, sister, you're going to look in that mirror and you ain't going to be that fox you used to be. But if you have been beautiful in the mind and done the right thing, your husband going to still love you. In fact, tell you the truth, you don't even look old at one another if she been straight. But if she is a pain in the back of the head, she look old if she's 21 years old. So you don't trust in beauty, sisters and brothers. Trust in the inner beauty. Do the right thing with your spouse and things will be right. Sister, be a wife if you're going to be a wife. If you can't be a wife, then don't get married. It's all that simple. Well, you know, I'm independent. No, you done gave up your independence when you got married. Somebody got to give and take. Go ahead and read.
Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
And that's what happens, sister and brother. When you do well, you get the fruit of your hand, you ain't got no problem. Because you've done the right thing going to come to you. But this is your role. You have to look after your house, sister. You have to look after your children. You have to think about what you're going to, before you go out and spend some money. And if you're going to go out and spend something that's going to cause the household a problem, you got to go and talk to that head of your household. That's the man, whether you want to be or not. A lot of women think the man don't have to be head, but when he leaves, all of a sudden impoverishment set in. Then you can't control the children. And when your boy get a certain age, I'm going to tell you something, sister, you got a problem. Because now all of a sudden he's feeling his manhood, and he ain't letting no woman tell him what to do, even his mama. But if that daddy was there, he'd knuckle that head. And he going to back down. It's all that simple, sisters and brothers. Let's go to Proverbs the 12th chapter. Back up to Proverbs the 12th chapter. Because a virtuous woman, sisters and brothers, she is somebody the man loves. But then there's another one, too, that you don't love too much. Proverbs 12, and we're going to read one verse, verse 4. Proverbs 12 and 4. Go ahead.
A virtuous woman is a crown to her husband.
You know what a crown is? You know, he wears her like a crown, sister and brother. He is glad to show her off. He is glad to talk about her. He is glad to see people watch his wife because she is something. And she is mine. But then there's the other side of the coin. Go ahead and read.
But she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in the bone.
Now you got a woman that's making you ashamed, always running her mouth, talking crazy, keeping you on financially against the wall. And people seeing you struggling and you talking yourself. Boy, I said, boy, I done heard him say in a minute, boy, I'd sure never get rid of her. Because she's a rottenness in your bone. She's creating problems constantly. You hate to take her somewhere because she's going to talk crazy. But if she is virtuous, that means it's going to do you right, ain't going to never do you no evil, ain't going to never bring something to you that you can't deal with. She's a crown, sisters and brothers. She is a crown. But I'm going to tell you, but she can be rottenness. I'm going to show you something. You had King Saul, first king of Israel. He first became jealous of David, then he was trying to kill David, sisters and brothers. Why? Because he feared David, because he figured David wanted his crown, and God's the one that finally gave it. So because they used to say when they went out to war, Saul is the king, said, Saul have killed his 1,000, but David have killed his 10,000. And after enough of that, Saul was tired. And Saul wanted to get rid of David. And he come up with a real solution that presented itself to him. Let's look at this solution. Let's go into 1 Samuel 18th chapter. 1 Samuel 18th chapter. You know, I look at these things, I said, boy, the Lord show you all over how things can go if you are not close to the Lord and do what you have to do. 1 Samuel 18, and we're going to start at verse 20. Because this is concerning Saul's daughter. 18 and verse 20. 1 Samuel 18 chapter, and we're going to start at verse 20. 18 and 20. Okay, read.
And Michal, Saul's daughter, loved David. And they told Saul, and the thing pleased him.
Now, ain't that something? Now, this is a man that he hates. But find out his daughter loved him, and it pleased Saul that his daughter loved David. You know that's a fly in the ointment, don't it? Why? Go ahead and read.
And Saul said, I will give him her, that she may be a snare to him.
Oh, I will give him to her. I will give her to him that she might be a snare to him. You know what a snare is? That's something that hinders you, something that causes you difficulty. And look what he figured would happen. Go ahead and read.
And that the hand of the Philistines may be against him. Wherefore Saul said to David, Thou shalt this day be my son-in-law in the one of the twain.
Ain't that something? He said, look, this woman, this daughter of mine, he knew his daughter. Everybody knew his daughter. I knew my daughter. You understand? And he know this woman here was going to be such a headache to David. He figured David's going to be so busy thinking and grieving that about him. He done hooked up with this woman until he's going to get sloppy on the battlefield and the Philistines going to kill him. That's exactly what he wanted them to do. You so engrossed them, oh man, I got to go home and deal with this woman, this here and that there, and all of a sudden you might forget that you hit Philistines coming up on the left flank. And by the time you come up out of these bad thoughts on this woman, you being killed. And this woman was like that. Now let's go into 2 Samuel, the 6th chapter. So Saul wanted to get rid of David. He said, wait a minute, I'm going to give him that daughter of mine. Boy, that daughter of mine is a load. She's going to be on his mind so heavy until he going to forget that he is in battle. And the Philistine going to kill him, and I'll be through with it. Because I'm not going to lie to you, sisters and brothers, there's nothing on the planet can distract a man more than a woman. I mean, nothing. Brother, oh, man, you know, hey, man, I ain't thinking about them women. I'll run it. Sure, that's why you buy nice clothes so they can look at you. You get your nice, shiny car, and you drive in front of them to get their attention. You want to put the rocks on your hand, you talking and flashing your finger. You don't do that from male to male. You do it in front of the woman. So you may as well get rid of that facade. Just like the Lord said in the beginning, she is the only one that's suitable for you, and everything you do is to please her. I don't care what you say. I'm one of you. But you don't like to let them know they got that kind of power. 6 and 12. 2 Samuel 6 and 12. Okay, go ahead.
And it was told King David, saying, the Lord had blessed the house of Obed-Edom and all that pertaineth unto him because of the ark of God. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed-Edom into the city of David with gladness.
Now see, what we have here is David built a tent in the city of David for the ark of the Lord. And he went to get the ark of the Lord, but he didn't do it according to due process. In other words, instead of him having to sanctifying the priest, and the priest going and get the ark and pulling the stays off and don't touch the ark and bringing it to the city of David, to the tent that he built, they got the ark and they put it on a wagon. And now, as they were bringing it back, the wagon hit a bump or something, and the ark had almost fell off, and Uzzah put his hand on the ark of the covenant and killed him. Then David got scared of the Lord. So what he did, he left the ark in this man's house. Because he said, I can't take it to the city of David. But then the Lord started to bless this man's house. So this man's house was so blessed until David said, well, maybe I better go get that ark. But this time he consecrated the priest. And he told him we're going to do it this right now because we had a man die because we did it wrong, transported it wrong the other time. So he consecrated the priest. They went and they got the ark, and the priest had the staves and never touched the ark. And David was happy and he was rejoicing because now he did it right, and the Lord was allowing him to bring the ark to the place that he had prepared for it. Go ahead and read.
13. And it was so that when they that bear the ark of the Lord had gone 6 paces, he sacrificed oxen and fatlings.
That's something, man. You go 6 paces and then you stop and make a big sacrifice. Go ahead and read.
And David danced before the Lord with all his might. And David was girded with the linen ephod. So David and all the house of Israel brought up the ark of the Lord with shouting and with the sound of the trumpet.
And so David was dancing, they were shouting, he was dancing before the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And as the ark of the Lord came into the city of David, Michal, Saul's daughter, looked through a window and saw King David leaping and dancing before the Lord. And she despised him in her heart.
Ain't that something? This man and all Israel rejoicing because they're bringing up this holy ark of the covenant, which represents the presence of the Lord. And she look out there and see David rejoicing and leaping and dancing. She despised the man in her heart. She despised him. Why is that? Skip down to verse 20. Verse 20. And go ahead.
Then David returned to bless his household. And Michal, the daughter of Saul, came out to meet David.
Now look now. The man came to bless his own household. Here come his wife. Come out to meet him. Go ahead and read.
The daughter of Saul came out to meet David and said, how glorious was the king of Israel today.
Go ahead.
Who uncovered himself today in the eyes of the handmaids of his servants.
Now, she wasn't thinking about him dancing before the Lord. All she could see, he out there flaunting himself before the handmaid. The king, he putting himself on display. The man had nothing in his mind concerning that. He was so happy. The Lord was blessing him and letting him bring the Ark of the Covenant up and put it in the place where he had designed for.
That's right.
All she could see was he out there trying to impress them young women. Go ahead and read.
As one of the vain fellows shamelessly uncovered himself. And David said unto Michal, it was before the Lord which chose me before thy father, before all his house, to appoint me ruler over the people of the Lord, over Israel.
He said, look here, I was dancing for the Lord. You know the Lord that replaced your father with me? I was dancing before him. Go ahead and read.
Therefore will I play before the Lord.
And I'm going to play before him. Go ahead.
And I will yet be more vile than thus. And will be base in mine own sight.
He said, look, I will even do more low things. If you think this is lowly what I'm doing, I will be base. All for the Lord, because he's the one that made me king. Go ahead and read.
And of the maidservants which thou hast spoken of.
And the maidservants that you have spoken of, go ahead.
Of them shall I be had in honor.
Then I'll look to them for honor, being that you won't. You understand what I'm saying? This woman wasn't looking at this holy thing that took place. Or she looking at a man out there, and all she could think in his mind, he out there dancing to impress them women. Overlook the Ark of the Covenant. Overlook all the rest of Israel dancing. Her husband, the king, acting like a common man. Well, who is not common in the eyes of God?
Right.
Go ahead and read.
Therefore Michal, the daughter of Saul, had no child until the day of her death.
So the Lord fixed that. She didn't have no child. Whether it was on her, wouldn't have it for this old baseless king, or whether the Lord said, hey, you ain't worthy to have a child by this king. Either way it go, she didn't. And in those days, women used to love children. Childbirth was something in those days.
Right.
Nowadays it's not. That's unless you're living according to the word of God. Now let's go into 1 Peter, the 3rd chapter. Because this woman here hated her husband, and it's obvious she rebelled against him all the time, and that's probably the real reason she had no child. You know, don't despise mean hate.
That's right.
How's it you going to despise a man that you live with? You go ahead and be with every night. That's a great big order. That's some ugly living. I'm going to come home to you every night and I hate you. Or either I might love you, but I'm coming home to you every night, and you hate me, and I know you hate me. That is rough business, sisters and brothers. But to this day, it is going on. To this day. Because somebody don't know what the Lord, don't know how to live as a spouse. And the Lord had it written what you're supposed to do. 3 and 1. 1 Peter 3 and 1. 1 Peter 3 and 1. Okay, read.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
Says again, be in subjection to your own husband. Go ahead.
That if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
So you being subject to you know your role. Maybe your husband is not obeying the word of God, but you do your part. And you keep doing right. Keep doing right. After a while, this man is going to have to capitulate, sister and brother. It is hard for somebody to keep fighting when they don't have no opposition. Sooner or later. And if he won't capitulate, then the Lord do him like he did Nabal, the fool. He'll kill it. And you get you somebody better. Because you've done what you're supposed to do. Go ahead and read.
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
Now they look at you and they start to learn some fear, they'll change. But skip down to verse 7. Verse 7 and go ahead.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
He said, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. What knowledge? The knowledge of God, sisters and brothers. Not according to the way you heard some old guy tell you, yeah, see, man, you know, the way to get away, the old men always get along with the woman is keep her ragged and barefoot and pregnant. Well, I'm telling you something, we had a whole lot of old foolish sayings. But he said, dwell with them according to knowledge. Go ahead and read.
Giving honor unto the wife.
Giving honor unto the wife.
As unto the weaker vessel. And as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered.
And as being heirs together into immortality. That's the grace of life. Immortal. That your prayers be not hindered. This is what you got to understand, brother. If you're going to abuse and misuse your wife and neglect your children, I don't care how you pray. The Lord ain't hearing that prayer. That's why I told him, be careful how you treat this woman, that your prayers be not hindered. You can run off and do everything you want. Sooner or later, drama going to catch up with you. And I'm going to show you why the Lord will not hear your prayer. Let's go into Malachi, the 3rd chapter. Malachi, the 3rd chapter. That's why I tell people, you know, if you're getting ready to be married, make sure you know what you want to do. Why don't you meet this woman in the head instead of in the bed first? You understand what I'm saying? Find out where your minds are. Because if you're going to go for physical appearance, you might meet a mind. Boy, this is the ugliest woman in the world. Though her face looked like an angel. You understand what I'm saying? And same thing with a man. Oh, he is so handsome and debonair and suave. And you meet his mind, he might be one of the vilest person on the planet. All of a sudden, boy, the way you think, I don't care. If they took the best looking parts of every man and put it together, I wouldn't be with you. Because you met the head first, sisters and brothers. That's what I'm saying. Beat the head, see if you can live with what's inside that head. Because that's going to trump the body. Verse 1. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare.
What did I, verse 12. What did I say? Malachi, verse 13, rather. Verse 13. Malachi 3 and 13. Malachi 3 and 13. See, this is something you need to know. Because you get a lot of guys that treat their wives rough, and they come here and they sit in front of us like everything. They love God, talk godly, all behave godly, but their household, he is a tyrant. And the Lord looks at that. Verse 13, read it.
Your words have been stout against me, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, what have we spoken so much against thee?
Wait a minute. Wait. Are you in Malachi 2 and 13?
2 and 13.
Well, this morning he messed up so I can mess up this week. Now we're even. I want 5. Okay, 2 and 13. Okay. I thought I said 2 and 13. I'm looking right at it. Okay, 2 and 13. Go ahead and read.
And this ye have done again, covering the altar of the Lord with tears, with weeping, and with crying out, insomuch that he regarded not the offering any more, or receiveth it with goodwill at your hand.
He said, look what you've done. You covered my altar, and you done wet it with weeping and crying out. So much that he don't even want to hear it no more. But why? Then you're going to ask the question, why? Go ahead and read.
Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord has been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth. He
said, I haven't heard your prayers because I've been witness between you and this woman that you married to. Go ahead and read.
Against whom thou hast dealt treacherously.
And I watch you when you dealt treacherously. Go ahead and read.
Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant?
Ain't that something? Yet is she thy companion and the wife of thy covenant. Don't you know that marriage is a covenant, sisters and brothers? You enter into it with agreement. Sometimes it is good. That's why I said it's good to sit down and meet the mind. Tell this man what you can't deal with, and you tell this woman what you can't deal with. And maybe what they can't deal with and what you can't deal with might make it so that y'all can't deal with one another. But don't nobody feel like they've been used and somebody owe them something. You understand? Because the Lord said he's a witness between you and this woman. The woman of your covenant. Go ahead and read.
And did not he make one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one?
Now what did he do? He took it back to the creation too, didn't he? Did not he make one? Yet he had the residue of the Spirit. In other words, he could have went to the ground and come up with something else. He didn't have to go into man and get this woman. But yet he made them one, even though he had the remainder of the Spirit. Go ahead and read.
That he might seek a godly seed. Therefore take heed to your spirit, and let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
So the Lord said, you better watch yourself now. You better think about what you're getting ready to do or say to this woman. And don't deal treacherously against the wife. Go ahead and read.
For the Lord, the God of Israel, said that he hated putting away.
Wait a minute. Hate? Ain't that a strong emotion? You can't get no strong emotion in that.
That's right.
The Lord, even the God of Israel, said he hated putting away. And if anything that the Lord hates, I'll be very careful on how I deal with it.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead and finish that.
For one covered violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that you deal not treacherously.
Now he said, now, the Lord is looking at you now. So you're covering your violence. So sometimes it's not physical, sometimes it's verbal. Sometimes you don't have to lay a hand on a person. You don't have to say nothing to them. It's just how you behave. Come in the house. How you doing? Sit down and eat, if you eat together at all. And if you do, you sit and eat and you ain't look at nobody. Ain't no conversation going on. Ain't nobody saying nothing. That means you somewhere where you don't want to be. But the Lord looking at this. Spouse looking at she trying to come up with some kind of solution that you don't want to hear. The Lord said, I'm watching all of that. And this is what we got to understand, sisters and brothers. And so you get to the point that you could, sometimes there's a word the Bible uses is lasciviousness. That is to cause somebody else to sin. Sometimes you can push a person and push a person and push a person until they say, I'm getting up out of here. Now you think you're to tell her, yeah, man, you know, the sister left me, man. I'm free. No, you're not free. The car didn't roll off the mountain. You pushed it off the mountain. And the Lord ain't nobody's fool. He see it all. So that's why I say, don't treat her treacherous. That's what treacherous is. You understand? Misusing and abusing, especially under the table. Everybody, oh, he is such a good brother. And you the biggest devil on the planet. The Lord said, then you're going to force the woman, now you put her away. The Lord said, I hate putting away. I hate. Hate is a strong emotion, sisters and brothers. That's a strong emotion. You got some of the commandments he didn't say that about. Think about it. Let's go into 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. Because putting away is a serious thing. A lot of people try to use, well, you know, my husband don't believe in this and he don't believe in that. He won't come to church. He won't. Hey, the Lord had Paul write something for you on that too. 1 Corinthians, the 7th chapter. Because somebody always got something to say to justify something. You understand? Bobby Rush made a record. All the people that coming and charging against his wife, you know what he tell them? I ain't stuck you. You understand? I ain't listening to nobody. If you think I'm going to listen to somebody and make me leave my old lady, you got to be crazy. I ain't going to tell them to handle what kind of crazy it is. In other words, sisters and brothers, this thing between you, that woman, and God. A lot of us wish we could do it over with, but I tell people, no, you can't do it over. You just make sure that this day that you learn better be the first day of your life. Go from here on. You can't go back and fix it. You just can't fix. Sometimes you tie things up so bad it's beyond repair. What you do is, but when you know better, now the Lord hold your feet to the fire. A lot of things we did in the world, sisters and brothers, the Lord let us, we repented from it, and the Lord is not going to bring it up. But once you find out what right is, that's when you got to start doing it. Because every move, once you get some understanding, is charged against you, or it is laid up in your favor. 1 Corinthians 7, and let's start at verse 10. 7 and 10. 7 and 10. Okay, read it.
And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not thy wife depart from her husband.
He said, the Lord said, don't let the wife depart from the husband. Don't leave him. Go ahead and read.
But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
And that's what the Lord said. Look, if your spouse, if the wife leave you or the husband leave you, wait on her. But then Paul noticed some ain't coming back. But Paul didn't say, in the Lord. He just gave you the absolutes. Because the Lord deals with absolutes. Sometimes man give you a little rigor room. So Paul going to give you a little rigor room here. But he said, not the Lord now. I'm talking. Go ahead and read.
But to the rest speak I, not the Lord.
Go ahead.
If any brother has a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
And that's some good advice, sisters and brothers. Because I know we have some brothers in here that wives that don't believe this, but they delight in the husband. So they ain't going to bring too much stuff in front of this husband because they don't want to lose it. I know some wives that have husbands that won't bring no pork in the house. Now, he go out and he go to the restaurant and get him some pork chops and some chitlins and everything, but he won't bring it in the house because he knows this offends his wife. Christmas time, he won't tell her, well, I'm going to put up the Christmas tree because it offends his wife, even though he don't believe none of that stuff. But he cares for her. So he respects her belief, not what she believes in. So Paul said, if you have one of those, don't put them away.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband.
One day she might listen or he might listen and bring them in. Go ahead and read.
Else were your children unclean, but now are they holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let them depart.
Go ahead.
A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God has called us to peace.
Say, but if they leave you and they ain't coming back, then you're not under bondage. And that is a fact, because there ain't nothing you can do. I had, like if somebody said, well, my husband left me, and the Lord said, I can't get nobody else. And, I'm waiting on him. Yeah, what'd you think? When did y'all get into it? Last week? Last one? Oh, that was 15 years ago. Sweetheart, the cat ain't coming back in 15 years. You may well move on with your life. This is what Paul is saying, sisters and brothers. When you know that they're gone, and they ain't gone for no reason of you, if you haven't committed lasciviousness. You understand? They left because they don't like you serving your God. They don't like you keeping the commandment. They don't like you not dealing with them on the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And they got 6 other days. If they could do that, then if they want to go, he said, you are not responsible, whether you're male or female. But you got to make sure that when they leave, it's not on something that you caused. Otherwise, don't commit lasciviousness, sisters and brothers. Don't cause somebody else to sin against God, because God is not stupid. So this is the same thing too when a man is married, he got to watch himself. Let's go into Proverbs the 23rd chapter. Lord give you all kind of good stuff. I'm just showing you some of this stuff, sisters and brothers, because the Lord wants you to know about it. If he didn't want you to know about it, then it wouldn't be in the book. That's what I tell people all the time. They say God is not a vain God. Well, how is it then that you figure some of his Bible don't apply? Because if he's not a vain God and it does not apply, then it should not be in these covers, should it? It's all that simple. Proverbs 23. And we're going to start at verse 19. Because I'm going to tell you something, sisters and brothers. Somebody, if the church had taught, all the churches had taught the whole Bible, and everybody would have known what they're supposed to do, you wouldn't have a divorce rate and all this other stuff like you have now. You just wouldn't have it. When everybody know what the truth is, and everybody know the consequences. Only reason that you would is somebody don't believe God or don't believe in God. But if you believe in the Lord, you're going to try to do what he said. Proverbs 23 and 19, verse 19. Okay, go ahead.
Hear thou, my son, and be wise. Guide thine heart in the way. Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh.
He said, I want you to be wise now, and I want you to guard your heart. Now, don't be among people that's running around drinking constantly and banqueting and eating all the time instead of taking care of their business. You know, people like that. You out in the street with somebody, you and the boys partying, you drinking, and y'all eating here and there, but your household has got a problem. Go ahead and read.
For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty.
For the drunkard and the glutton shall come to poverty. Go ahead and read.
And drowsiness shall clothe a man with rags.
And if you're always drowsy from partying, drunken, and all this stuff, you're going to end up wearing rags because you're going to blow your money instead of taking care of your business, sisters and brothers. The Lord warned you, don't overkill or live too large. Live within your means. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in rags. And when you end up there, you don't need to get on your knees. Say, oh, Lord, please help me. I helped you. I told you what not to do. You wouldn't listen, so now you are reaping the consequences of your behavior. These things, sisters and brothers, we have to lay to heart. Let's look in 1 Timothy, the 5th chapter. Because if a man go out and party and blow everything in his household fall, and you talking about you a servant of God, the Lord had Paul write Timothy something that's contrary to that. Very, very contrary. This is what I'm saying. You have to look. You have to look. Sometimes you can't get nothing right. Everything's going south on you. First thing, the way you behaving in your household, because this marriage institution is important to God, sisters and brothers. He set it up from the very beginning. And your behavior is watched all the time. We're going to read one verse. 1 Timothy 5 and 8. 1 Timothy 5 and verse 8. Because if you're running around drinking and eating and partying all the time and ain't taking care of your business and blowing all the rent money, blowing the bill money, after a while, you're going to come to nothing. Go ahead and read.
But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he is denied the faith.
Ain't that something? If you didn't provide for your own, and those of your own household, you have denied the faith. Go ahead and read.
And is worse than an infidel.
And you're worse than an infidel. The infidel is a non-believer, sister and brother. You sit and you listen to the word of God. You sit among the servants of God. And you're always praising God, but your household is messed up because of your foolishness. Yes, sir. You don't believe, because if you believe, you wouldn't be behaving the way you behave. It's all that simple. Man of God do the thing that men of God do. Fools and sinners do the thing that fools and sinners do. So you're going to act like a fool and play like you're a man of God. I'm going to look at you. Man, don't you have a job? Yeah, why you broke all the time? You understand what I'm saying? And that seemed to happen. The Lord didn't bless you, but your blessing don't mean nothing. Either you're partying, and sometimes you're just plain lazy and don't do nothing. God is letting you know, I'm looking at all of this stuff, brother. And now you want to lay the blame on everybody else. He made you the head of the household. It is your duty to take your position. Because when you don't function, your household go down. Let's go into Proverbs, the 24th chapter. But nobody pays no attention. It got so bad now. Get the brothers running around looking. He meet a sister. He didn't want to know, do you have a job? You got your own apartment? When a brother asks you that, sister, you know what you do? Just look at him real weird and walk away. Because he got something on his mind, and it is not in your best interest. Because I see a lot of times, I see women raise boys, and then something happen, the mama get tired and put him out. Now he got to go find him another mama so he can move in with. And eat on her until she get tired and put him out. Now he out in the street getting him another mama. Ain't never getting a wife. He looking for him another mama. And that's what goes on, sister and brother. And sister, you better be wise enough to understand that. If you want a son, have you one. Once you get a husband. Don't inherit somebody else's. Because I got a problem with that. I ain't lying. I got a problem. The Lord have a problem with that. Because if you don't do right, then your kids grow up, the young men grow up thinking that he is supposed to use a woman. You understand what I'm saying? Therefore, he never take the time to become a man. And when men start to diminish among the people diminish. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Women cannot take the place of a man. That's all that simple. Proverbs 24, let's start at verse 27. Proverbs 24 and 27. Verse 27. Okay, go ahead.
Prepare thy work without, and make it fit for thyself in the field, and afterwards build thine house.
Now the Lord's telling you to prepare your work. And go out and you plan. And give it some thought. Now once you got everything in order, then prepare your house. In other words, before you embark on something, even a marriage, you got to prepare a way to feed your family. Whether it's going to school, whether it's learning a trade, whether it's whatever. Don't just walk in, I don't have no job, I don't have no direction, I have no idea, but I want to have me a wife and some children. That ain't going to work. The Lord said you prepare first. You have to do that. Skip down to verse 30. Verse 30. And go ahead.
I went by the field of the slothful.
This is the one that didn't prepare. Even if he left something, it was inherited. The slothful mean lazy. I went by the field of the lazy. Go ahead and read.
And by the vineyard of the man void of understanding.
Why is he void of understanding? Because he don't understand if you don't work, you don't eat. It's all that simple. Go ahead and read.
And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof.
Go ahead.
And the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction.
He said, look, I went by the house of the lazy. I saw his garden, his fields growing up with weeds and thorns. I saw the wall that he had around it broken all down. His whole thing was raggedy, as the young people used to say, like to say. And he said, and I was instructed. I received instruction. What did he receive? He received a message that if you don't take care of your property and if you don't work, you will come to nothing. And everything around you come to nothing. You can get a brand new house and you ain't got no job. Plumbing break, you can't get it fixed because you ain't got no job and no money. Roof get a leak, you can't get it fixed because you ain't got no job and your money. If you last long enough before the IRS take it from you, it's going to fall down anyway because you can't fix it. Heat go out, you can't fix your heat in the wintertime. Now it's cold, it's going to bust your pipes. Why? Because you ain't got no job, therefore you ain't got no money. You can't call in for no service. It's just like going by the field of the lazy man. And it all fell down. He said, and I was instructed. What did he learn here? Go ahead and read.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man.
Ain't that something? He said, let a little sleep and a little slumber, stand in the bed, and ain't taking care of your business working. He said, your poverty gonna come up on you, sisters and brothers, and your wants gonna come up on you as an armed man. You're gonna want everything, but you can't provide nothing because you're too so lazy to go get it. Everything around you come to nothing. Why? Because you are lazy. Man can't do that. You got to get out. You got to take care of your household. I said it all, and y'all heard me say it. I don't know what my wife makes. One time she got all, I'm tired of you hearing this, brought her check stub and showed it to me. I looked at it and forgot it 10 minutes later. You know why? Because it was irrelevant to me. When I bought my house, I didn't buy my house on the premises of how much me and my wife made. I looked and said, can I afford this house? If I could not afford this house, I don't care what my wife made, I wouldn't have bought it. You know why? It's because if she gets sick or she decides she don't want to work no more, that still does not relieve me of my responsibility. And you have to be like this, and you pass it out to your sons, and your son going to grow up to be men. I would love for her to be a helpmate in case I need her. But if I don't, the show goes on. It's got to go on, sisters and brothers. These things here, man have to learn. We have gotten to the point we don't know what man is supposed to do. So now we get to this thing, we won't work, we ain't got no money. So now we're going to borrow. Let's go into Proverbs, the 22nd chapter. This is why two wild men have to have him a virtuous woman, one that he can trust. Because sometimes you might have a little trouble, but you can figure it out, but she can't wait, so she's going to go out and borrow something. I always say if a man going to borrow something from me, if a woman going to borrow something from me, I'm going to pick up the phone and call, say, look, no, I ain't going to pick up the phone until you bring your husband with you. If I decide to loan you this, he going to be right here. If he said, you don't get it. Y'all understand me? If he said, you ain't going to let him, if you don't want to be the man, I'm going to make sure he's going to be the man if he's going to deal with me. It's all that simple. See, because I ain't going to degrade the woman, but I talk about a dude like a dog. You understand what I'm saying? I can't do that to her. And I shouldn't do that to her. Because she was created to be a help that's suitable for man. Not the man be a help suitable for her. Y'all understand? So now, and I'm going to show you the Lord warned you about everything. I see that's what I like about this God. He warns you about everything. You do something foolish, or either don't do nothing at all, now I'm going to borrow to make up. You better make sure you can handle it. Let's start this at verse 26. Proverbs 22 and verse 26. 22 and 26. Okay, go ahead.
Be not thou one of them that strike hands, or of them that are surety for debts.
So don't be one that's already willing to jump up and get into debt. Let me borrow something, so-and-so I'll pay you, and you're shaking hands, and agreeing that I'm going to pay you. Because if you ain't prepared, look what the Lord had written. Go ahead and read.
If thou hast nothing to pay, why should he take away thy bed from under thee?
So don't go out and make no debts that you can't pay. Because they're going to come and take your property. It's all that simple. I've seen people that had house notes and pay your house comfortable. Well, I think I'll refurnish my house and go out and get a second mortgage on the house. Now your paycheck won't cover both of the mortgages. And you don't pay. Now they're going to come take your house for furniture you didn't have to have. Y'all understand what I'm saying? How many times that is happened? You know, that's why we had this housing project going on. They tell me the banks gave them all this money and the people couldn't pay for them. Everybody get a loan. The one that went in to get the loan should have been the first one to know that he could afford the loan. Because if you can't afford it, then the word of God is going to fall on you. And that's what it is. He will come and take your possession. People don't understand how absolute the word of God is. You borrow and you can't pay, they're going to take your collateral. But if you take care of your business, you don't have to worry about that. Skip now to verse 29. Verse 29 and read.
Seest thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men.
So when you're diligent and you take care of your business, you can stand before kings or anybody else. They be saying, look here, this brother here, he pay his debt. Or this brother here, he take care of the business. You can shake his hand because he going to do what he said. And you ain't going to never stand before mean man, because especially if you're off in the field of fire, everybody want to deal with you because you're a good customer. You are a good client. They love you. It's just like with the Israel of God. We got ready to build. We had two banks fighting to loan us money. Since the banks in Crumpet, I don't know what they're going to do now. But we had Park National over there, and we had Chase Manhattan. They jumping up and down and loaning us money because they look at our track record. We borrowed money to expand it. We paid for it. We borrowed money to buy Atlanta. We paid for it. Every time we ever borrowed. We borrowed money to build a meat house. We paid for it. Money to do Dallas. Money to do a whole lot of other places in Memphis. We paid for it. And they look, these people have paid $100,000 and they pay it on time. They jumping it down. Please let me loan you some money. Because they're going to make money from loaning money. So if you're diligent in your business, individually, you will have the same luxury. They walk in the house. Mr. Jones is in the house. Give him whatever he wants. You know why? Because he is diligent about his business. Man have to do this, sister and brother. People think that when you serve God, all you want to do is jump up and down and be full of the Holy Ghost. You got to serve God on every level. And this is what you got to learn. Let's go into 1 Timothy, the 3rd chapter. I want to show you something here. I want to show you something here that people don't understand. God used this man and this earth as a proven ground. First thing, all you have to do is simply be able to take orders. Adam and Eve couldn't simply take orders, and got us in trouble. But the thing is still standing. If you cannot obey, you cannot carry out a commandment, how then are you going to take care of the Lord's business? You can't do something small. How is it I'm going to do something big? 1 Timothy, 3rd chapter, and we're going to start at verse 1. Pay attention to this. 3 and 1. Go ahead and read.
This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desireth the good work.
It's always a good work if you desire the office of a bishop. This is somebody that disperses the word of God. Go ahead and read.
A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior.
Look, you got to have some qualities that other people don't have. And you got to be vigilant. You got to be sober. And you got to always display good behavior, sisters and brothers. You can't ever have a relapse on being a man of God. You got to be a man of God 24/7. Go ahead and read.
Given to hospitality, apt to teach. Not given to wine, no striker. Not greedy of filthy lucre, but patient. Not a brawler, not covetous.
Look, you got to be patient. You got to be and don't give to drinking too much. Don't be weak for money, because anybody can buy you then. You got to be patient, and you're always ready to teach. Go ahead and read.
One that ruleth well his own house.
And one that ruleth well his own house. That don't mean I'm going to rule you like, you better do what I say, I'm going to knock you out. I'm going to tell you the best ruler, sisters and brothers. I always use the thing I said, I use the kings. You get a king that rule out of love, he ruled forever. But if you get a king that rule as a tyrant, he rule as long as it takes for his subject to find a way to overthrow him. So his kingdom is always on the buck. So when it says rule his own house well, that's with love, with understanding, like the Lord had us read earlier, with knowledge. So you're going to rule it right. Go ahead and read.
Having his children in subjection with all gravity.
Have his children in subjection with all gravity. That means your children are going to behave all the time. You ever go to shopping mall sometime or stores and you have somebody with their children now, they run there all, stop, stop, stop. You know what that tells me? You ain't raising that child. If you had took care of raising at the house, you wouldn't be hollering, stop. I raised my daughter. We go to places and they get kids get crazy and they get noise all of a sudden. Everybody start. I just look over there at my daughter. It's over with. Not that I'm a tyrant, but she know that every misbehavior reaps consequences. So you don't want to deal with the consequences? Stop misbehaving. Finish that.
For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God?
Ain't that so? So if you don't know how to rule your own house, how are you going to take care of God's church? The church of the Lord is not a church of tyrants, sisters and brothers. I'm going to come here and I'm going to look here, all of you stupid people. Y'all didn't give me enough money last year. You better give up the money or go somewhere else. Y'all going to be getting your purses in your hat and hitting that door. But I tell you, this is the Lord's program you're dealing with. And if you want to further the Lord's program, you pay your tithes. But then that's between you and God. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And explain to you why and the need for it. Then tell you, but look at all the properties and how big we are. The whole world is looking at us right now. Look at all the tapes and the TV programs we're on right now. All because you have paid your tithe and we've taken the Lord's money and furthered the gospel. Now you understand this. But I have to be able to practice on my household. How can I make my children want to obey me? How can I make my wife want to obey me? By respecting and doing them like I want them to do to me. This is what the Lord said. But if you can't rule your own household, you can't take care of his business. Because sooner or later somebody's going to come and look at your children. This man is the head of this household? Good grief. Walk up one day, you're talking ugly to your wife about, wait a minute, I ain't no way I'm going to sit under this preaching. In other words, your family is the proven ground. That's how important the household is, sister and brother. But man done diminished it. He diminished it so much until a man can marry him another man and he got him a husband now. But the Lord respect the one that's going to rule his household. Let's go and look at Abraham. Let's go into Genesis, the 18th chapter. When the Lord got ready to go down and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he was going to hide it. When are you going to let Abraham know? But then he got thinking about it. Why should I hide this from Abraham? Let's look at the reason he used not to hide it from him. Genesis 18, chapter 18, and we're going to start at verse 17. Genesis 18, and we're going to start at verse 17. 18 and 17. Genesis 18 and verse 17. Okay, read.
And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do?
No, he said, look, he sent them angels down there to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Abraham didn't know. But the Lord said, shall I hide this thing from Abraham, what I'm getting ready to do? Go ahead and read.
Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him.
Go ahead.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him.
Ain't that something? Say he's going to become a great nation, and all the nations going to bless in him. He said, but for I know him. He will command his children and his household after him. Go ahead and read.
And they shall keep the way of the Lord, to do justice and judgment.
Go ahead.
That the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him.
So he said, ain't going to hide this man from this man, because this man here going to run his house. He's going to set his children on the right course. They're going to do the right thing. So the Lord don't hide secrets from men that take care of all of their business, starting with the family. Because he can handle it. Because this is the proven ground, sisters and brothers. That's why I said if you can't run your household, you can't run God's business. And I've seen people, even in the Israel of God. See, brother, well, I think I should do this. I'll look at his household. It's in shambles. Trading wives, and he just, like shoes, and he's just one step from me throwing him out of here. One step. That's because they ain't got the absolute proof. I will still throw a brother out here, because I say I ain't going to let no Hebrew make no whole house out of the Israel of God. It's all that simple, sister. So any brother that think it's going to happen, you playing with yourself. But he said, Abraham will direct his household. So I tell him what's going on. I open my secrets up to him. He's been a man in little things. I know he'd be a man in big things. Just think about it. Somebody come and borrow $10 from you and don't pay you back. Now when things get hard, they come back, man, I need $1,000. Can you get out of my face, man? You wouldn't pay me $10. You think I'm going to loan you $1,000? You got to be smoking something. But if he paid you 10 when he said going to pay you, now he come back for $1,000? Well, you know, it's kind of big, but hey, man, you showing yourself to be honorable. Okay, you can have $1,000. That's because you've shown yourself that you can handle little things. Therefore, you can handle big things. The Lord's saying that same thing with the house. Man have to run his household, and he have to run his children. And he have to do it with respect and love. Let's go into Ephesians, the 6th chapter. But this is the problem. We got a problem with respect and love. You know, somebody always wants to give somebody a piece of their mind, but you don't want a piece of nobody else's mind. Learn how to give and receive a piece of somebody's mind by a common conversation. What's on your mind? Tell me, and then we'll see if we can deal with it. Ephesians 6. Because the Lord didn't leave out nobody. All you got to do is read this book. He tell everybody how they have to live. And if you live according to the Lord, you will prosper. I don't care who you are. And people say, well, you know, I've been serving the Lord, things ain't happening. I said, are you tired of serving the Lord? No, well then continue. Until they happen. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can't give the Lord automation. Now, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going to stop serving you. Like my daughter told me when she was little. She wanted, well, see, Dad, I eat all my food. Like she doing me a favor. Ephesians 6:1. Ephesians 6:1. This is for the young folks, for everybody. Go ahead and read.
Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
Honor
thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
He's now obey your parents. Honor your father and your mother, because it is the first commandment with promise, sisters and brothers. Let's see what that promise is. Go ahead and read.
That it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest live long on the earth.
So he said, if you honor your father and your mother, it's going to be well with you. You're going to live long on the earth. See, when the Lord said, honor your mother and your father, he didn't put no conditions on it. He didn't say honor them if they honor you.
That's right.
They're your father and your mother. I don't care what they are. They're still father and mother. I might not want to be around you. I might not even want to have a conversation with you if you that lousy in some of mine. But I will not dishonor you. Had a boy do that one time, a young man. Mama called me crying. How her son, big teenager, then called her a bunch of B's and H's. I got that boy, and I took him behind the building, and I simply said, if you talk to your mama like that again, I'm going to do something to you. She ain't never called me crying no more. Because I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he knew I meant it, because that is obnoxious to me. You done raised and fed. You get big enough, now you feeling your testosterone, and you going to cuss your mama. Not around me. You understand what I'm saying? Not around me. He said, honor them that your days might be long on this earth. Go ahead and read.
4. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
He said, now the father, don't provoke your children to wrath either. He said, look, you got to bring them up. And you got to admonish them in the word of the Lord, sister. And you can do it. I have a personal experience with that. The last day that I left was in my daddy's house is because we had a physical altercation. And it come up with somebody called on the telephone, so your boy out here messing with my wife. I was not messing with the wife. I was 18. I ain't touched this woman. Well, you better leave her. I said, look here, I am your son. Why don't you believe me sometime? Because that was the first time, hadn't first time come up. And then what said after that? And then what I said after that? And before I know it, I was up in the air. And through the grace of God, everybody was around, my mama and my aunts and all of them. When our feet hit the ground, they went directly to the door. I never went back until I called and said, I am so-and-so, so-and-so. I never went back for my clothes or nothing. But the whole thing was, I was right. Later on, he didn't acknowledge it, but he let me know that I was right. And it made it good for my two younger brothers. All of a sudden, it didn't have this tyrant that you can't talk to. I mean, you couldn't talk to my daddy. You talking back to me? Bang! But it's one thing, he taught us to be men, though. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead and read.
Verse 5. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh with fear and trembling.
Now, we ain't got to go into that, but that's the one that sign your paycheck, right?
That's right.
Obey what you got the job for. Let's go a little further. Because he said, honor your father and your mother, but he tell children, fathers, children, obey your father and your mother, but he tell the fathers, don't provoke the children. you can do that. Let's go to Proverbs 20 and verse 20. Remember, sisters and brothers, you got children now. You're supposed to discipline. But then again, too, sometimes you have to listen to them. Because they got a mind in their head, they have feelings, and they have opinions. Ain't nothing wrong with listening to them. If their opinion is wrong, you tell them it's wrong. And if they try and exercise their opinion, then you show them who the daddy is. But that is supposed to be the last trip, sisters and brothers. But a trip for sure if it have to be. Right. Proverbs 20 and verse 20. Proverbs 20 and verse 20. Okay, read it.
Whoso curses his father or his mother, his lamp should be put out in obscure darkness.
Ain't that something? Anybody that cursed their father or their mother, Lord, so I'm going to put your lights out. You understand? He's going to deal with you, sisters and brothers, because there is no excuse for dishonoring your mother and your father. Let's go into Exodus, the 21st chapter. Exodus chapter 21. We don't have too many more places to go. I just want to let you know that the Lord have told you how to live, children and grown up. Exodus 21, verse 15. 21 and verse 15. Read it.
And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
That's why, you know, if you're going to beat or hit your father and your mother, you're going to be put to hell. He's going to be put to death. That's what happened. What is this singer, Marvin Gaye? Yeah. Like you beat his daddy. One day his daddy was ready for him. He run up to beat him. He shot him to death. Didn't serve a day in jail. Why didn't he go to jail? Because he fulfilled what's going on here. You understand what I'm saying? That's your father and your mother. You don't beat them. You don't abuse them. Skip down to verse 17 and read that.
And he that curseth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death.
Ain't that something? This is the Lord speaking, sisters and brothers. Because if you cannot honor your father and your mother, you can't honor wife and children. And if you can't honor wife and children, you can't honor God and take care of his business. You are a total washout. And the Lord just let you know that. And he's telling you that. That's why a family should study this book and find out what everybody in the household is supposed to do. Let's go into Proverbs, the 22nd chapter. Because the Lord tell it all. Proverbs chapter 22. You know, I disciplined my child when I was raising her, but I also listened to her side, too. I don't want to hear, no. You can't say I don't want to hear it now. I want to hear it all. If I have to hold my nose in my nose and listen to it. But once you get through talking, I'm going to tell you where you're wrong and tell you what's going to happen to you if you do it again. And if you do it again, then I ain't going to tell you what's going to happen to you. I'm just going to make it happen to you. That's the way it is, sisters and brothers. And I'm telling you just like it is written. Proverbs 22 and verse 6, because your child is your child. The raising of your child is on you, not the school teacher. And always people talking about looking at some football or track star or some celebrity for a role model. Your role model is your mama and your daddy. They're with you every day. And the Lord's telling you, and they are responsible for whatever happened to you. 22 and 6, verse 6. Go ahead and read it.
Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
And that is 99.5% of the time. If you train a child up the right way, the way they should go, if he's old, they won't depart from it. Every now, I say a half because you always have to leave a half because it look like every now and then you get somebody come on just got a head that you can't do nothing with. But 99% of the time, sisters and brothers, it works. Skip down to verse 15. Verse 15 and go ahead.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
And that's all children. Go ahead and read.
But the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
And that's we'll do that too. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to practice it sometimes, sisters and brothers. You tell them don't do that, they don't listen. Whap! Next time you say don't do that, they listen. You know why? Because they don't want to deal with the whap. Think about it. DCFS, sisters and brothers, is stocking the jailhouses and the graveyards. Why? It's because it's contrary to the word of God. Look what it said in Proverbs 13. And we're going to read one verse, verse 24. 13 and verse 24. See, we need some good practical, godly teaching in the household. And they will stand. Your children will grow up to be something. Because your role model is you. 13 and verse 24. Verse 24, go ahead.
He that spared his rod hated his son.
Ain't that something? If you spare a rod, you hate your son. Go ahead.
But he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes.
You know, and if you love him, you're going to chastise him whenever he needs it. How do you hate your son? Because if you don't chastise them, if you spat a rod and don't correct them when they're wrong, you're going to send them into a world that they're going to go out thinking that the world going to let them do the same thing. It is not going to happen. The world don't have no love. It have no tolerance. You cross the line, you get your foot cut off. So child disobey, you have to chastise them. And just like this thing, like I said, DCFS is stocked to jail. You got your own child, I would tell you, if you hit me, I call DCFS. I tell them, we'll go ahead on and do that. But in the meantime, pack your bags. Because when DCF get through with me, I'm going to tell you to go with them, because if you don't, I'm going to beat you some more when they leave. DCF going to put you in jail, then you're going to starve because I'm the one that's feeding you. Either way it go, you will not win, because they're preparing you to kill, to be killed, or to go to jail. That's why I say if you spat a rod, you hate your child. Children don't know what's best; they have to be taught. And sometimes when they don't understand, then you have to be taught with a little leverage. In other words, put that rod on that butt. Think about it. Sometimes you have to do that, sisters and brothers. It ain't going to kill them. Let's go into Proverbs, the 23rd chapter. And I got one more place after this. The Lord is letting you know he has a solution. I'm going to tell you something. My man was a hard man. But he did something that he learned. That he did something to us because of something happened to him. He's a hard worker, and he worked all of us. I tell people all the time, I ain't never been a boy. I ain't had the luxury to be a boy. I always had to do things. But my old man couldn't read or write. You know why? Because his daddy wouldn't let him do it, kept him in the field. But he's a hard worker, owned a whole lot of property in Arkansas, left my sister and brother. I didn't want it. I said, I'll make my own. But one day, he's in his factory, he's working. Man walked up to him with a clipboard and everything and said, look, you foreman. And he said, I can't do it. Why? I can't read. From that day on, he decided that none of his children would be like him. Why? The average person is satisfied with a high school diploma. My family was a college degree is normal. My sisters and my brother, all us professionals, our nieces and nephews, college degree. We don't talk about where you're going to graduate from high school. We're talking about what college you're going to go to. Why? It always started because a man could not get a promotion because he couldn't read. He raised his family to put stock in education. You understand what I'm saying? But why did that start? That started with him until the day that he saw that he had been handicapped. He didn't feel like he was handicapped. So he said, I'm not going to pass this handicap on to my children. Your children are supposed to do better than you. And when they refuse to do better, refuse to obey, drop Proverbs on them here. 22 and verse 13. 22, Proverbs 23, rather. 23 and 13. 23 and 13. Okay, read it.
Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he
Stop
should
emphasizing beat, man. This guy loved to emphasize beat. For if thou beatest him with the rod. For if thou beat him with the rod. Go ahead.
He shall not die.
He shall not die. In other words, you ain't going to beat him to death. Don't abuse him. But he got to be corrected. Go ahead and read.
Thou shalt beat him with the rod.
Go ahead.
And shall deliver his soul from hell.
And you're going to beat him with the rod, and you're going to deliver his soul from hell. Because you're going to correct him. If you have to put the belt on him, so be it. The rod ain't talking about a rebar iron now. That's talking about a switch or something like that. Like in the old days when I was growing up, my mother used to get the switches. Daddy didn't care what he got. He hit you with the chair. He hit you with the table. If he could pick up the truck, he hit you with that. But he's saying you get your switch or something and you whoop them and you correct them. Because now you're going to get them to understand one thing. Misbehaving brings about consequences. You see these young boys out there fighting and shooting and doing everything, killing one another. They're not thinking about the consequences. Because if you think about the consequences, you curtail your behavior. You ain't going to shoot if you know you're going to get shot back. When a bunch of boys come to beat somebody up, it never occurred to them that they could be beat up. But when you get a person and you raise your children to know that every action brings about a reaction, misbehavior brings about negative consequences, then they're going to think before they do it. They're going to think before they do. Like my daughter told me, they was out, when she was little, she was out in Evergreen Plaza with her friend. They started stealing. She saw them, she got on the bus and come home. You know why? Because she knew I would have killed her. Relatively speaking, of course. When your child know what you're going to do to them, if you get caught wrong, they ain't going to do it. Because you have already put the rod on them, sister and brother. So if you don't discipline your child, you hate them. Because you're raising them up to go to jail or die. That's all that simple. People's children don't go to school, they don't do anything. Then they wonder, why ain't you graduated? Because you wasn't watching to make sure I graduated. Don't child like no school. Most of them don't. So you have to make them like something, hate something more than they like school, like a good rod on the back. So the Bible said, look at it, so this is what Solomon said in here. Withhold not the correction from a child, for if you beat him with the rod, he ain't going to die. And if you beat him when he's wrong, you're going to save his soul from hell, not only from death, also from the lake of fire. Because he's going to learn discipline, sisters and brothers. Let's go to the last place, Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter. Because the Lord tells you, I'm putting you here. I don't want you to be here to suffer. I don't want you to walk around like, well, I'm serving God, I can't do nothing, you know. I got to suffer, I got to bleed like the church. Say you're supposed to swear to poverty. You know, the church, where they got big bars for the liquor, limousine, they call them around, the best of everything. But that's some weird swearing. You don't look too impoverished to me.
That's right.
Plus, I ain't read nowhere where the Lord said you got to be broke.
That's right.
It's just how you stop being broke is where the Lord deal with you at, sisters and brothers. Anybody that don't want to look, the Lord gave Solomon more riches than anybody. So if riches was evil, then Solomon shouldn't have gave it to Solomon. God contributed to evil. No. It's discipline, sisters and brothers. Ecclesiastes 9 and verse 1. Read verse 1. Go ahead and read.
For all this I considered in my heart, even to declare all this, that the righteous and the wise and their works are in the hand of God.
Everything that you do, sisters and brothers, say the righteous and the wise, their work is in the hand of God. Go ahead and read.
No man knoweth either love or hatred, but all that is before them.
So now you don't know the difference in love and hatred except for the Lord is the one that told you what love is. The Lord is the one that told you what hatred is. He is the one that's guiding you. And so you don't know what right is until the Lord showed you what right is. You don't know what love is until the Lord showed you what love is. It is all in the hands of the Lord. So the Lord gave you a directive here. Skip down to verse 7. Verse 7. And go ahead.
Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy.
He said, go your way and eat your bread with joy. Go ahead.
And drink thy wine with the merry heart.
And be happy in drinking your wine. That's because you didn't earn it. Go ahead and read. I'm not talking about overdrink now. I don't want nobody going out and getting drunk with Brother Buie read that the Bible said. No, we ain't talking about that now. In other words, enjoy the works of your hand, the labor of your hand. Go ahead and read.
For God now accepteth thy works.
Go ahead.
Let thy garments be always white.
Be always right. Go ahead.
And let thy head lack no ointment. Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of thy life of thy vanity.
And when let thy head lack no ointment, they ain't talking about putting oil on it all the time, sisters and brothers. Let your head always be on correctly. And live joyfully with the wife of your youth all the days of your vanity. Because this life here is vain, sisters and brothers. Anything come to an end. See, man is not going to exist forever. God created the man to be God. That means that this state of being is temporary. But use this temporary state, sisters and brothers, to prepare for the permanent and the eternal. And it's simple. He's telling you, you can do this stuff. We ain't talking no sin here. Be joyful with the wife of your youth. Go ahead and read.
Which he has given thee under the sun, all the days of thy vanity. For that is thy portion in this life.
Go ahead.
And in thy labor which thou taketh under the sun.
Now this is your portion. The labor of your hand. You go out, you work, you make your living. You live the best you can without being foolish and creating consequences for yourself. The Lord said, this is your portion in this life. Ain't nothing wrong with living good. Just have to live proof. There's nothing wrong with living large, as long as your money is large enough to take care of it. But when it comes to marriage and family conduct, sisters and brothers, the Lord told the man what he have to do, how to live. He told the woman how to behave, and he told the children how to behave. And then he told the parent how to treat the children. What is there left?